Hello everyone, welcome back to the Podcasters Podcast. My name's Louie, and today we're going to talk about why you should even start a podcast in the first place. Now, I'm going to start by telling you a little bit about me. I came out of university in 2019 and I got my first job here. I haven't gone anywhere, I'm still here. And my first job was working with Progressive Property, the property business. We would take trainers in, record videos with them, edit them up, and then on the side we had Rob Moore's personal brand. So I would take Rob in, I would film stuff with him, edit it, put it on social media for him. We had a lot of people at that time. Podcasting was very niche. Podcasting didn't really exist back then. A lot of people would look at the stuff that Rob was doing and say, oh, I want to do that. What is that? So a lot of people would start thinking about doing podcasting. Now, it's all well and good knowing that you want to do a podcast, but I think what's more important is your why. Why are you starting a podcast in the first place? Now, we all know what the benefits of podcasting are, and we're going to explore them right now. So podcasting as a format has obviously grown over the last 10, 15 years, and it's audio and video content. Obviously, back in the day, it was audio content. You'd listen to the radio, things like that, listen in the car. Then people started adding video, and obviously then the whole idea of this podcast show came alive. I don't think it really existed back then. Obviously, you'd have radio shows and you'd have TV shows, but there wasn't really this kind of marrying of the two where you could take one, put it on audio platforms, take the other, put it on video platforms, and have it exist in lots of different places at once and call it a podcast. I remember the first podcast that I listened to, it was My Dad Wrote a Porno. And that was purely entertainment. And then eventually they'd get sponsors and move on from there. But podcasting began as this form of entertainment. Now, over the years, people have taken this form of entertainment and they've grown it and they've scaled it and they've used it for business and monetization and sponsorships and pushing personal brands and all of this stuff that is consuming the modern age. That is one of the reasons why you might want to start. You want to be in on it. You want to be part of the podcasting zeitgeist. So you've got to figure out, first of all, what is it that you want to do? And I think what's really important is figuring out, is it a business podcast? Is it a podcast about frogs, dogs, cars? So you've got to sit down and think, what is my podcast going to be about? And you may have heard the episode that I did with Rob not too long ago, talking about, you've got to be passionate about whatever it is that you choose to do. You've got to have some sort of zest for it. Otherwise, one of two things are going to happen. One thing is that you run out of ideas. The other thing is that you aren't confident in what it is that you're doing. Now, I have lived and breathed media throughout my entire life, making silly videos as a kid, to doing a degree at university, to then coming here and working with clients in the agency and things like that. So I'm pretty confident in my own ability to talk about media and exist in this space. You've got to find your space. So really think about what it is that you'd like to do. And one of the things that we found is some clients decide that they want to start a business podcast, but then they don't really know what they want to do. Or they might sit and think, I want to do a business podcast, but then I really want it to be about lifestyle and me, and I want to show off all of this stuff. And go do that. That could be your thing. You will find audiences wherever you go. You just have to find your thing. There will be someone to watch it and they will enjoy it more if you're enjoying it more. I think that's what people lack sometimes, is that they don't enjoy it themselves. They see podcasting as some sort of chore. So if you're doing it merely to just be here and contribute to the noise, don't do it. Do something else. Maybe it isn't for you. So you want to start a podcast, but you don't know how. First of all, like and subscribe and have a look around the channel. There's lots of useful videos to help you on your way to starting, scaling, and thriving in your podcast career. Also, did you know that we run a 3-day event over here in Peterborough called the Podcast Profit System? Come join us in a room of like-minded individuals, meet the Progressive team, learn how we do things, and there's a free lunch thrown in as well. All right, let's get back to the video. So another aspect to it is this idea of entertainment or infotainment. You might want to make a podcast that's all singing and dancing, interviewing really interesting people, like Hot Ones, for example, where they eat chicken wings and ask important questions. Okay, that is what I would consider to be an entertainment podcast. It's a show. And if you're going to make a show, you really need to think about the format of it. How are you going to structure that? Is there going to be segments to it? How are you going to make it fun? How are you going to make it interesting? What kind of props could you bring in? Is it more interactive, perhaps? Is there music? Is there jingles? What's going on in that to make it entertaining? Then on the other side of things, you've got infotainment. So you're delivering information. This is what this is, I'd say. We're doing an infotainment podcast. So you're taking information and I'm delivering it to you. I'm almost like a teacher, if you like. I'm teaching you things and unlocking a different way of thinking about things. So that's another thing. Maybe you want to give information and deliver it and then sell a course or something. So think about, which way do you want to go? Entertainment, infotainment. Then another way that people might use a podcast is for purely business reasons. Maybe you have a company and you want to create a podcast that shows off what you're doing. Maybe you want to make a podcast that informs your employees. But yeah, so figure out what is the purpose of your podcast? What is it that you're doing? Obviously, the main reason that a lot of people start up the podcast, once they've figured out what it is that they're going to do, is to talk to an audience. So again, another episode that I'm going to do is thinking about who your audience is. What do they want? Who are they? How old are they? What job do they do? All of that. You've got to figure that out. Okay, but obviously a podcast is a very direct way of talking to that audience. It's quite intimate as well. You don't know where your listener is going to be. They could be on the toilet. They could be at work when they're meant to be working. They could be in the car. They could be in the bath. They could be anywhere. So it's a really intimate way of connecting to someone, especially if you're coming through some headphones. So that's why, it's good to have a podcast to be able to talk to your audience, but also you've really got to make it worth someone's while, because people have only got a certain amount of time in the day, right? And if you're going to tempt them, if they're going to pick you over anyone else, it's got to be for a good reason, okay? Their bath time is precious. And if you're going to be in their ears whilst they're in the bath, it's got to be for a good reason. Obviously, then, if you're talking to them through this medium, you can then get feedback from them so they can talk to you. We now live in a world where audiences can talk back to the producers, and there can become this cyclical cycle of feedback and responses and talking, and it makes people feel more connected than ever before. But you've got to bear that in mind. What do you want to talk to your audience? Obviously, I'm talking to you right now down here, and I'm hoping that in a minute what you're going to do is you're going to like, you're going to subscribe, you're going to see what else is going on, you're going to interact with me, you're going to leave me a comment, you're going to ask me a question about this topic, and I'm going to respond to you. And we've got that rapport then, which is fantastic. It does take a bit of it getting used to. Obviously, at the moment, I'm just sat in a studio with 3 cameras pointed at me. It's a bit weird, but I know that hopefully you're seeing this and listening to this, and that I can interact with you in some way. So reach out. Obviously, for you, that might mean you're getting some sort of validation, whether it be with reviews or comments and things like that, and building your brand and getting reputation. Everyone talks about 5-star reviews and all of that. It's very valuable to have something that has a good reputation behind it. But also, if you're connecting with an audience, and I've got all of you guys on the other side of the camera, I can organize things with you. We can take it out of the virtual digital world and put it into the real world. So I could organize a meetup or an event. And we've got lots of clients in the agency that have started a podcast in a room with no one. There's no one in here with me right now. I'm purely on my own. I've spoken to people through the camera, and then we've met up in real life. They've met up in real life, and they've developed long-lasting relationships, business deals, money's been exchanged, yada, yada, yada. So this is kind of the first point of contact, and then you expand it into the real world, get to know people. And I think that's what a lot of podcasters miss, is that they don't realize that it goes beyond this room. So a lot of podcasters come in, record episodes, get it on the internet, and then leave it. They get all this feedback, but then they don't follow it up or chase people. And so many of our clients get people coming up to them and go, "Oh, I recognize you from somewhere. You were on the internet. I saw a video with you in it." And that's brilliant. And that's the real world connection. That's the thing that you need to nurture. And then, that could lead to anything, all sorts. So again, why start a podcast? to get through to people. Also, another way that you can start, or another reason why you should start a podcast, is your personal brand. Now, obviously, we've got the branding behind us. It's all purple. It's all nice. It's been rebranded recently. Look at it. Isn't it nice? But then you've got things like Rob Moore and his Disruptors brand, which is very glitchy and loud. And you've got the rocky riff, and it's, it's interesting. And he's asking all the right questions to all those of different people. And, that's his brand, is the disruption and the disruptors. So you've got to think about your brand. And obviously with a podcast comes branding, and you get to choose colors and logos and pictures of yourself and all of that jazz. But then you get to really develop who you are. And this podcast is just a piece of that puzzle. Obviously, then you've got to think about, this personal brand, this podcast that you're making will go into lots of different places. It will go on audio platforms. It will go on video. It will go on YouTube. It will go on TikTok. It will go on Instagram. And your brand will follow through and kind of follow you along if you want. Now, some people don't want a personal brand, especially if you're doing something that's maybe a bit more educational or informative, not necessarily about entertainment. Some people don't like to make it all about themselves. And I know that I'm sat here kind of making it all about me, which isn't necessarily the intention. My purpose here is to kind of inform and maybe entertain a little bit, hopefully. But think about, how much do you want to expose yourself to the big internet world? Some people really want to push themselves out there, be loud, be proud, be controversial, make loud statements, and have kind of the branding to follow along with that. Other people don't want to do that. They just want to, do something that's in line with their business. Keep a low profile. Maybe they don't have their face anywhere. Maybe it's purely anonymous. So a podcast can be a piece of the personal brand puzzle, but consider, do you want it to be that or not? I think it's important to define your why. This is the last point. Define your why. That kind of leads me back to what I initially started with. Why are you doing this? You've got to have a really good reason why. I have a whole reason why I'm doing this right now. My reason for being here is because, one, I quite enjoy doing this, but also I work for progressive and disruptive media, and we want to promote our agency, and we want to kind of deliver high quality content that validates what we're doing here. That's totally transparent. That's what I'm trying to do. So that's my why, and everything I do will kind of filter towards that. So if you are interested in working with us in any capacity, do visit the link in the description and sign up and have a look and get in touch and all of that jazz. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, all of that jazz. But what I've just done there is my why, and it will drive everything that I do in all of these episodes and all of that. So think about what your reason is and be passionate about it and give it some beans. Okay. What I like to do with all of these episodes, obviously, I think this might be episode 1 after Rob's interview. I want to leave you with an action, something that you can go away and do. So what I want you guys to do is just start. Starting is the hardest bit, especially, I get people that come to our 3-day training and they leave it and they order their equipment and they set it all up and then they speak into the microphone and then they listen to it and they go, I hate it. That's disgusting. I give up. It's the end, and they put it all in a box and it gathers dust and then goes on eBay and they never see the light of day. What I need you to do for me is just start, whether that's, getting a camera set up and talking to it, whether it's on your phone and you just want to vlog something, you just want to kind of take us around on your day, show us what you're up to, but show us something that you're really passionate about, whether it's something that you've made or something that you're doing or someone that you're with, and just enjoy and get used to how you are and how you exist on camera, because that's a whole other thing, is how you present yourself and how you are. So my action to you is just start. Thank you for listening to the Podcasters Podcast. I've been Louie. Make sure to like and subscribe and visit the link in the description if you're interested in working with us, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.